Hello everybody, welcome to DDO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news from Dungeons & Dragons Online and the world of tabletop and beyond. I am your host this week, Drac. There is no Pine Leaf this week because of my schedule. More on that later. I do have a guest with me. We have Axel from Axel's YouTube channel.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me, Drac, and hello everybody.
Hey, thanks for finally coming on. We have been trying to do this forever, and it just didn't work out, and then this week was a good week because there's not a lot of news. And so I thought, hey, let's have Axel on. So if you're familiar with our show, we have a little initiation that we do for our guest, that our first time guest on the podcast. We like to ask a couple questions to get you introduced to the audience. So how long have you been playing Dungeons & Dragons Online?
I started originally like 2008, 2009-ish, somewhere in there.
Okay. And then how about D&D? Do you have any history with pen and paper D&D?
I'm not really much of a pen and paper player. Honestly, I haven't played since high school, but I do own some of the books and I like reading them. But as far as playing, no.
It's actually kind of funny. There's a lot of DDO players that aren't pen and paper players, which I find interesting because I would kind of like to figure out what the percentage of is, like how many people play tabletop and DDO or versus just play DDO and then maybe dabble in tabletop. It's just kind of interesting how that works.
I would be curious too. Yeah, for me, I mean, I had some friends really into pen and paper in high school, played a little bit with them, and I just thought Dungeons and Dragons was just so cool. And then, 2008, 2009, I happened to find DDO, so I got more into DDO. And as far as pen and paper, I mean, I'd be up for it, but just real life friends and stuff aren't really into it.
Yeah, exactly. That's where Fantasy Grounds comes in great for online play. But so how about the DDO community? Now we're going to get in more on this in a little bit. We're going to talk about your YouTube, but how did you kind of get into the community briefly? And like I said, we'll cover it more when we talk about your channel.
Well, I started in 2014. That was when I think I uploaded my first video, October 2014. And at that time, there really wasn't many people. I mean, there was DDO cast, but at that time, there really wasn't much as far as content creators for DDO. And I was like, you know what? Why not? I wanted to try to do something, outside of real life work that was kind of fun and creative. And yeah, so that's what I chose to do.
All right, perfect. So as I said, we are going to talk a little more in depth about your channel and your videos here in a bit. But right now, let's jump into the game news. Not a lot. We did have a patch last week. We didn't have a podcast last week. So we're going to go ahead and cover the patch. This is update 50.2. It was released last Wednesday, August the 18th. Couple fixes to Horizon Walker. The No Stepped Mist now has a higher chance of regenerating a charge on Vorpal. I still have not played with Horizon Walker at all. That's something that I want to do. Have you experienced Horizon Walker at all?
Not really. I mean, I did go on Lamania and experiment with it a little bit in the test dojo, but I haven't played it, no.
Yeah, I haven't either. I really want to check it out because it sounds kind of interesting. Also in the Horizon Walker tree, the Banish the Quarry is now properly attempting to banish extraplanar creatures. Quarter the Quarry now has its intended 20-second cooldown. Guidance is using its unique cooldown, and there is a bonus to marking from the 5th core dimension door. It's now applying properly. Coup de Grace, the DC, is now working as intended. Shifter and Ridgeclaw Shifter's favorite enemy enhancements are now granting their associated favorite enemy feats properly. That is always nice to see when stuff is working properly. Knight of the Chalice, the Adept Combatant, now properly adds Warhammer and Heavy Mace as a favorite weapon. And Holy Combatant now properly adds the Greatsword as a favored weapon. Sacred Defender got a little work as well. Paladin's Tier 5 Divine Revelation now provides its missing 1 spell resistance, and it no longer provides additional unintended bonuses. A little bit of item work as well. Several small item bugs have been fixed. Several typos in the epic and legendary item crafting system also have been corrected. Legendary Sword of Shadow cosmetic version now has a yellow border, and its recipe now has more specific naming and text. After you acquire a feat, an enhancement, or a destiny ability that grants a new favorite weapon, you will no longer need to unequip and re-equip your main hand weapon for it to be properly recognized as your favored weapon. I know that was like an issue for a little while, so that's good to see that fixed too. Players can now trade 250 threads of fate for a soul vessel. You open the threads of fate barter window by double-clicking the threads of fate in your inventory. Salt Marsh's throwing weapons now fly correctly.
What does that mean?
That's what I was going to say. What the heck does that mean? I don't know. I never have used one of these Salt Marsh throwing weapons, so
neither have I.
I would love to know what it was doing before, if it's now flying correctly. One of those weird release notes. Newly made cosmetics of the Shadow Scale outfit will now display their proper appearance. The Volcorum fighting leathers can now be properly upgraded, and non-cosmetic docents are now properly showing their jumpsuit appearance layer, which I'm not sure what that means either. What is the jumpsuit appearance layer?
Maybe like the base layer without clothes. I'm not sure.
Oh, that might be. That would
assume that's what they mean.
Sense. Yeah, that would probably make sense. The Lizard Folk Sentient Jewel now displays properly in your weapon tooltip, and there is an increased amount of Quartermaster's chits that will drop. It's from a 1 to a 1 D2 plus 1. That means players will earn them at double to triple the rate they did before.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised there. I mean, those are dropping a lot already, I thought. Okay, more. Yay, more.
Yeah, I'm going to say, hey, more is always better.
More is never bad.
That's exactly correct. More monsters encountered underwater will now gradually sink down to ground level once they engage in combat, which is great. I hate underwater combat. Anyway.
Yeah, there was a quest number 4, I think, in Salt Marsh that might be related to that. Some of them were sticking on the top on the ceiling. I think that's what this fix is mainly targeted towards, I would assume.
Yeah, I would assume so too. Nightmares.
The final enemy quest.
Yeah. Nightmares are no longer immune to cold, and monsters have had their token fragment drops restored. A few other things. Lots of fixes over in Sinister Secret of Salt Marsh. The final battle in Danger at Dunwater. The boundaries of the fight are now correct, so enemies won't spawn outside of that.
Do you know, did you run into that bug, or have you gotten a chance to run Salt Marsh?
I have ran a couple of them. That I didn't actually find that bug when I ran that quest, though.
Yeah, I actually ran into that, and it's a really long quest, so it's kind of it's great that they fixed it, because I think what was happening, there's an infight where a bunch of Swagan jump out of the water, and I think what was happening is some of them were kind of getting stuck in an interactable area, like outside of the play area, so you couldn't actually kill them, so it would make the quest incompletable. So
that's
glad they fixed that. It's a really long quest too, so to run into that bug at the end was like,
Oh yeah, that would be super frustrating. Yeah, luckily I didn't actually find that, because I did that before this patch, so good to know that's fixed. In the Down You Go quest, an alternate path to bypass the jumping puzzle is now available if you can find it.
I was surprised they added that. Like that, I didn't feel like the jumping was very difficult there, but whatever, fine.
I actually haven't ran that quest yet, so usually jumping puzzles, once you figure it out, I mean, it usually takes you a little bit to figure it out. It's usually not horrible, unless like some of the jumps were impossible or something, but sounds like they weren't, so yeah.
Nah.
But now I guess you can skip that. You just got to find the correct path. Also in Down You Go, the waterfall in the pillar room now stays off if you leave and then return. Okay, like I said, I haven't done that quest, so I'm not exactly sure what that means.
I don't know what it's referring to. I guess it's a visual thing. I don't know.
The hijacked hall, a locked chest, has been moved to a drier location.
So that one, I think they did that because for some reason the rogue hireling, the new rogue hireling's level 30 rogue hireling that's included with the expansion, I think the highest bundle, couldn't unlock. Like I had problems getting that rogue to actually unlock that chest. So I think they just moved it to kind of get around that. I think that's
gotcha.
the reasoning there. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. In Under Cover of Darkness, they corrected a string table error in some action text when you fail an intimidation check. The Salt Marsh Training Hall is now open for business. This is a building on the way out of town with horses in front of it. It will now contain the Salt Marsh class trainers and the Fate Spinner. So that's kind of interesting. They put all those in a whole different building.
Yeah, some people weren't big on the Fate Spinner moving, but I don't know. I think it's fine. I guess I don't know why exactly they did that. I don't know if it's just aesthetic or if it's like performance lag issue related with having too much stuff in one area. I don't know.
Possibly because I bet that would be probably my guess is
that's my guess
related to performance and lag, I would think.
Yeah.
And then the quest arc is now awarding treasures of the appropriate level when you turn it in. So that's handy as well. And then there is a note that they have significantly increased the number of pack ingredients that will drop in the Fiarlan Carnival, the Sands of Nectarian, Sentinels of Stormreach, the Chronoscope, the Red Fens, the Vault of Night, the Web of Chaos quest. There are some optional chests that can contain to be able to drop those ingredients. No changes have been made to the drop location of the chest. Also, End Chest remains the primary source of these ingredients. And Epic Devil Assault now drops Fractured Slivers of Time at levels lower than the quest due to there being more eligible chests in the raid.
Yay, more stuff.
More stuff. As we said before, more stuff. Always good. And several changes have been made to specific alchemist spells in order to alleviate performance pressure on the game client. Anything to do with performance and fixes, always good. Get rid of that lag. That's a quick look at Update 50.2. You can click over the show notes, get the full release notes. We skipped over a few things, but was there anything else that you think we should talk about in the release notes? It looks like it was just mainly fixes, little small fixes, enhancement fixes, quest fixes.
Yeah, I think some of the key bug fixes were really the main thing. So yeah, other than that, not really.
And then there is, I know I watched a little bit of Jerry's stream. I watched it after the fact this Wednesday. Guess there is another patch slated to come out this week. So stay tuned for that. Update 50.3. They basically are just calling it a bug fix focused game update. So who knows what we're going to get in that. Stay tuned for that. That's going to be this week at some point. He wasn't sure when from what he said. And that's about when I stopped watching the stream. I got to finish watching the show. But there you go. So patch notes incoming for that. And we'll be sure to talk about it on the next podcast as well. Let's head into the DDO Chronicle. This is issue number 438. There is a new version of the player-made DDO tracker that is available. Looks like this updated it to include the Salt Marsh quest. I actually haven't had a chance to check this out. I want to play with this because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, I haven't played with it either. I'm not familiar with it. I should look into it.
It's basically like a standalone program that you install, and then instead of having to, I know a lot of players will keep like spreadsheets on their computer about all the quests they have completed, the favor they have gotten, stuff like that. This will actually do that for you as well. And then I guess there's puzzle solver in here as well. So if you're stuck on a puzzle, it'll show you exactly how to solve the puzzle, and a lot more in this. And it sounds like it's constantly being updated, so check that out. And that was made by a player. So thanks to him, it looks like it's Serious Nonsense over on the forums. He's the one behind the DDO tracker, but it has been updated. It's including Saltmarsh now. So check that out. Like I said, I do want to actually play with that a little more.
Yeah, I've tried. I've played with other various character planners and such. There's a lot of really good tools out there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's great to see what the community is doing with stuff like this. Speaking of the community in the fan site news section, DDO Cast has the review up of Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh. Check over and watch or listen to the latest episode of DDO Cast. Axel, he actually reviewed Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh over on his channel.
Yep, go watch everybody. I spent a bunch of time. It's like 28 minutes. It's really in depth, just going over everything on the expansion.
You did a really good job. I watched that today, actually. We will talk more about that in just a bit as well. Don't forget DDO stream. That is your first stop to find DDO over on Twitch. This week you can check out Doug Glendower. He's going to the 13th moon back. Voodoo Spice is chatting. And Patrick and Friends is running Island of Dread over on the tabletop. Also, over on Twitch, Skull Priest 1210 is running Saltmarsh. Dugor 80 gets started, and Benny Bradley is living a Reaper 10 life over on YouTube. People making DDO videos as well. Aaron Thompson's is running with a crossbow. Zumago is raiding, and Blue Nexus Gaming is just getting started. So if you have a stream, if you have a blog, if you're making videos, whatever you're doing that is involving DDO, make sure that you let Jerry and the guys over at Standing Stone Games know for sure. You can email DDO at standingstonegames.com. Make sure you let them know, and you probably will be able to post that in the fansite news section of the forums as well.
Yeah, they're always looking for people.
Yeah, yeah.
That's my impression, at least. I mean, obviously I don't work there, but yeah. I mean, and the thing is, they're not going to know you're making content unless you tell them. So
right, because there's so many people, and I've said it before on the show. It is amazing to me at how many people and how many newer people are starting to make content for DDO. Even after all the years the game has been around, there's still new people that are coming out and making videos and doing stuff for DDO, which is amazing to see. Lots of people twitching it, lots of people doing stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, more than ever, I think.
So yeah, let Standing Stain Games know, and they'll get you in the fansite news section of the Chronicle, and probably over on the forums as well. And that is it for the fansite news section. We do have a screenshot of the week. That is Wyjak and Cleary Kanan, I guess. I probably pronounced that wrong. Sorry. They are taking selfies at the statue in the harbor. That is the 522nd DDO screenshot of the week. That is a pretty cool little screenshot. It always amazes me that people, I know there's probably a secret to get up there, but I don't know how you get up to the top of that statue, but I see a lot of people doing it.
Yeah, I don't either. There's a lot of little secrets like that where you can get the really high places on the map. Like, I know there's a really high place you can get to in Sharn. There's a lot of little cool places like that.
I've seen...
You got to find them.
Yeah, I've seen other screenshots like this, and I'm like, how the heck do you get up there? Because I want to get up there. That's awesome looking. And then,
maybe it has to do with falling from the sky on a bad teleporter, falling from...
maybe.
On 6, perhaps. I don't know.
That could be. And then we'll wrap out our Chronicle with the Chronicle comment this week. If your character were a ghost, what would it haunt?
I don't know.
I mean, me, it's going to be Ravenloft. Like, duh.
My main character is like a cleric, so probably some cathedral or church somewhere.
Okay, that makes sense. It's always interesting to see the questions that Jerry comes up with for these Chronicle comments, because he has to come up with one of these every week, and it's like, it's hard to come up with questions, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, at what point do you just Google it?
Exactly. It's like just Google and try to find a good question and kind of theme it to DDO and go with it. There you go. So that's a look at our recent Chronicle issue 438. So now let's chat with Axel a little bit here about his gaming channel. So you're pretty active over on YouTube. I will put a link in the show notes for your channel so people can check that out if they haven't already. You kind of, talked about it a little bit when you first uploaded your first video before, but let's just go a little more in depth with it. What made you decide, hey, I'm going to start a YouTube channel for DDO?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a very, I guess you could say, creative person. I try to, I just had an urge to do something outside of work that was kind of a personal project, because my daily life, like 9-to-5 life, I basically do the opposite of what I do in YouTube. I'm like an accountant, so so doing something more creative.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, when I started in 2014, there just wasn't a lot out there. I mean, there was like DDO Cast. I think that was, I'm not sure if Patrick was doing it at that time, if it was still Siegfried, Trent, and Anne, but there wasn't a lot really there. So I was like, you know what? No one's making YouTube videos. I'll just start, and just went from there. I mean, over the years, I've kind of started to do more and more with it. Like my first videos were just me playing and talking, but now I've gotten to the point where I do like reviews, and I do videos on various news and hot gaming topics in the DDO world, and I've been doing even some covers of the DDO music lately. I've been doing a lot of different things.
Which, yeah, I was going to bring that up. That is like your cover music that you're doing on guitar is amazing that you're doing that. And you're actually writing all that yourself, because I'm assuming there's no like guitar chords and anything for that. So you have to come up with that yourself. Is that how you do this?
Yeah, there's no, they don't release that stuff. Like, as far as I know, I think I think Cord Evans mentioned before that he would like to, but yeah, right now, so to cover the music, I basically have to do it by ear. And I do use there's an app which helps me find the chords a little bit, but
okay,
for the most part, when it comes to the lead stuff, I have to just write that out by ear.
So how long does that take you?
It takes a long time. You have to
I bet.
Listen to it a million times. You have to kind of listen to the first note and be like, okay, where's that on the guitar? Find it, think of the next one. It's a slow, methodical process. But at the same time, I'm doing it not just to create content, because I'm trying to improve as a guitar player, and that's like one of the best ways is to transcribe music. So it kind of kills two birds with one stone.
Okay, yeah. So what made you like decide that you wanted to kind of tackle that as well on your channel?
Well, it just seemed to fit, because I like guitar is one of my other main interests other than DDO. So again, it was a way for me to improve as a guitar player, which, I've only been playing a few years, and also make content for the game. So if I can do both, great. So I'll probably do more in the future. I have a couple other songs I want to do.
Yeah, it's the ones that you have done, I have just been amazed at. I'm just like, oh my God, how is he doing this? And it sounds so good. It sounds like you know the song all your life, and you're just, oh yeah, I'm just going to play the song on the guitar, which apparently that's not the case, but that's sure what it seems like watching your videos.
Yeah, well, I'm also just a big fan of DDO's music generally. Like, I'll play it at work.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, yep. I mean, I have so many songs on my phone, so I can listen to it in the car. I mean, music generally is really good, and even like some of their newer stuff. Like, I really like the Feywild music. I thought the Feywild music was
exactly.
awesome.
Yep.
Particularly the main
I agree.
theme. Yeah, so yeah, big fan.
Yeah, I'll a lot of the times, like if I'm like just doing something around the house, like if I'm cleaning or doing dishes or whatever, I'll just like throw some of the music on and just have it in the background, because it's just like you said, it's just really good music. So we did talk in the Chronicle that you did a review of Saltmarsh. That is your latest video, and you did get pretty in depth in that. How do you go about when you're going to do like a review video like that? What's kind of like the steps that you take to get all that ready and get your thoughts together? Because you always seem so like natural at it, and it's just like you just kind of like talk, and you're conversational with the review. I'm sure that is probably takes a while to plan out as well.
Yeah, so when it comes to the review videos, basically step one is I gotta obviously go to the content and solo it at least once, or at least a couple times. I mean, when it came to Saltmarsh, I soloed everything twice, completely flower sniffing every bit of the quest. Then I ran it in a group, go through and do all the wilderness stuff. So that's step one, obviously. And then step two is I write an outline. I think I had like 12 pages of an outline for this one, something like that. And you just go through and write. I don't script my videos ever. Very, very rarely. I think maybe one or two I have. But generally, I'll just make outlines and write down topics, divide it into sections. Like, here's the section on the quest, talking about the quests. Then we're going to get into positives, criticisms, overall impressions, just go from there.
Like I said, your videos are so I like them because you're so conversational about it. It's just like you like kind of talking to the camera, and it's almost like we're just like sitting down somewhere and we're just having a conversation, and you're just like saying your thoughts. So
I try to do that. Just, I mean, when you're a YouTuber, it's important that you try to connect with the audience. So that is something I strive to do, and I'm glad to hear that it's coming off that way, and not just some dude
Right.
talking to himself.
Yeah, no, at least to me, it definitely seems that way. So I think you're succeeding at that, at least in my opinion of it. I'm assuming other people probably have that opinion too. But how much has your channel grown from the beginning? Like when you first started your channel, did you have any, like grand plans for the channel, or you're just like, I'm just going to make these videos, and then it just kind of grew from there slowly?
Yeah, not really. I didn't really expect it to go anywhere, but it actually has grown a fair amount. I mean, I think I'm at 4,000 subscribers or so on YouTube, something like that.
Amazing. Nice.
So that's not like, it's still a baby channel, like
right.
But,
yeah, but
for DDO community standards, it's a fair number of people watch my videos, so it's humbling and awesome, and it's more than I ever thought it would get to when I just started doing the videos. It's just a thing I've done for fun for years. I mean, it's not like I strive to make money off of it or anything. I mean, you get a little bit from, AdSense, but it's not, it's pocket change essentially.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I'm sure you know that.
I know that well. You don't get rich doing YouTube and our podcast unless you're somebody that has like 20,000 million subscribers or something. And then, yeah, I'm sure you pull in some bank. But yeah, what are you going to do?
And then later on, I did start a Patreon and all that, which I have. So I've got some people now that are supporting me a little bit, which is awesome and really humbling. But yeah, making money was never the objective. Like, if you get into, there are actually a couple of people I think in the community who are able to kind of make it a full-time thing, but generally, yeah, it's not something, something you get into because you just want a fun side project, not something you're like, hey, I'm gonna make money.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the mindset I went into the whole site and podcast too. It's like, I love DDO, I love tabletop gaming, so I'm gonna do this for the fun of it and for the love of it, definitely not for the money aspect. And I think you can kind of tell too, like, if a content creator is doing it for money versus doing it because it's something they love to do, or they just, want like a hobby or something like that. I think it shows in the quality of the videos. Personally, I can kind of tell if you're in it for, this is probably going to be controversial saying this, but if you're in it for the right reasons.
I don't think it's controversial to say that. That's the right attitude. Whenever you get into, whether it's YouTube or streaming or whatever, you have to first go into it as, this is something I want to do because it's fun, and you can't have expectations of him and make money. It just has to be kind of a bonus thing. If it happens, your Twitch stream blows up or something, then great. But if not, nothing lost. You got your fun. You had your fun.
Right, exactly. Speaking of Twitch, you also Twitch now and again too, correct?
Yes, I did start Twitching a couple months ago, something like that. Not just DDO, but other games too. I figured, why not? Because I play a lot of games anyways. So
right.
Why not just stream them? I mean, I play a lot of other games, not just DDO, like other stuff. So I'm like, shoot, I'll just stream it. Why not?
And then I'll put links in the show notes for your Twitch channel and your YouTube as well. And then you're fairly active on Twitter as well, so I will include links for your Twitter as well, so people will be able to find you everywhere. Is there anything else that you want to say about the DDO community or your YouTube and Twitch channel?
Well, we can always use new people. If you ever have a desire to have your own show or whatever, just start your own YouTube channel. If you ever have a desire to have your own podcast, it's a great time. There's a lot of really good creators now that are in the community that have really grown the community. I mean, back when I started 2014, like I said before, there wasn't much, but nowadays there's a lot of Twitch streamers, a lot of some other YouTubers, podcasts, multiple podcasts. Well, we have 3 or 4 podcasts that I know of. So it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's amazing.
I'm happy to help promote, or I'm sure you are too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The guys over at SSG, Cordovan, would be happy to do that as well.
Definitely. Yep. Now is, like you said, like the best time to jump in. Just, don't be afraid. Just do it, I guess, is what we're trying to say. So let's move on here then. We will take a quick look. We have one piece of news over on the tabletop. and that is Lord of the Rings. That's coming to Magic the Gathering in 2023. Wizards of the Coast did announce they have some major plans for Magic the Gathering. One of them was that crossover set with Lord of the Rings. This is going to bring incredible depth in the world, of course, created by J.R.R. Tolkien, with Magic releases. So there's going to be several releases. It's going to feature the characters you know. It's going to immerse you in Middle-earth. You're going to battle for the One Ring. You're going to scheme with Saruman, or you might journey to the heights of Mount Doom itself. All of this will be coming to the tabletop, also Magic Online and Magic the Gathering Arena. So pretty much everywhere you can play Magic, you're going to be able to include the Lord of the Rings in your Magic sets. There is also going to be 4 commander decks that are going to be coming out as well, and there's going to be a secret lair drop. They are doing this as part of their Universe and Beyond, what they're calling it. This kind of started with the Forgotten Realms set that just recently came out. They have announced this Lord of the Rings set. They also announced there's going to be a Warhammer set coming out as well. And they have more announcements coming soon. So lots of stuff coming to Magic. I never really was big into Magic.
I had friends,
but yeah,
you were into it. But I think I played it once or twice. But
yeah, that's about how I am. I played it now and again, and I have a friend that really played it for a while. He doesn't play it much anymore, but so this is kind of cool though, kind of melding two of the little nerddoms together. So we'll see how this goes. But like I said, you got a while to wait for this. 2023. We'll keep you updated on any other news we hear about this and the Warhammer set. That's pretty much all they announced just as it was coming, but you got a long way to wait for that though. Let's move into our week in gaming. I'll start because I basically didn't do hardly anything. More on that later.
Maybe I'll get busy.
Yeah, there you go. The main thing I did was did play some Dungeons & Dragons 5e. Of course, that was via Fantasy Grounds. That is the Waterdeep Dungeon of the Mad Mage. We did episode 12. It's called the Corn Pickle Handoff. Watch the episode, you'll understand the title completely. The Waterdeep Dwarves, they finally made it to level 3 of the Dungeon of the Mad Mage. They get sent on a quest for a dagger, and they try to handle some monsters. Of course, don't forget that is sponsored by Fantasy Grounds. Watch that episode, really good episode. Something happens at the end that you have to see. That's where the handoff part of the title comes in. I'm not going to spoil it because I just want everybody to go watch that. Of course, that's over on Evil Beaker's YouTube channel. Link is in the show notes for that. Waterdeep Dwarves game is so much fun. Beaker, I know you listen to the podcast. I'm going to throw it out once again. When are you going to turn me back into my drow? Just throwing that out there. Don't like being a dwarf, but it's okay. And that's really all I did. How about you, Axel? What were you up to?
Mostly DDO. But other than DDO, I've been streaming some Civilization 1 lately. Yes, the original one.
Say the OG, huh? Nice.
The one I grew up with playing. So I don't know. I got an urge last month to start getting into it again. So I have been. So I'll probably stream more of that today after we get done recording that. But yeah, that's the main game I've been into. Other than that, played through Doom 64 lately. I have an Xbox One, so played through it on that, streamed the whole thing. But mostly DDO with Saltmarsh coming out has been the main thing as of late.
Yeah, I can't wait to get back into Saltmarsh. From the couple quests that I've done, I'm enjoying it immensely.
Yeah, above average content for sure.
We currently have 16 supporters over on our Patreon. If you would like to help support DDO Players, you can go over to our donations page. You're going to be able to support the Players Alliance Network, which is the podcasting network that we are a part of. That money is going to be used for all of our podcasting hosting, website hosting, and to help pay for Mixler, where we normally stream our live shows. If you would like to donate without using Patreon, which a few people have done, we appreciate that very much. You can just send me an email. That's drac@ddoplayers.com, and we can talk about several options that you'll have to do that. We also would love to get a review from you as well. Any of the podcast apps of choice that you use, just drop us a review. The more reviews that we get on any of the various podcasting catching apps helps us because we get kind of pushed up when people search for DDO. We'll get kind of pushed up in the rankings because of reviews, so we appreciate those as well. No featured comments. If you can always leave a comment on our YouTube version of the podcast or any post we put up over on the site, and we'll feature it here on the show and share your comment that you leave there. No emails as well. You can email us. That is podcast@ddoplayers.com. You can follow us on Twitter. The Players Alliance Network is @Players Ally. DDO Players is @DDO Players. I am @Draculator_72. Pineleaf, who is normally on the show as well with me, is @Pineleaf Needles. And you can follow our guest Axel at...
You can find me on Twitter @AxelAlexK, YouTube, Axel's DDO channel. Just type that in, you'll find me. What else? DDO forums, if you want to catch me on there, Axel15810 is my username.
How about Twitch?
Oh, Twitch. It's also twitch.tv/AxelAlexK.
All right, perfect. We do have 2 live shows on the Players Alliance Network. Normally Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have DDO Players News, and then Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern is our sister show, Lotro Players News. You can join us for the live shows. You can just go to ddoplayers.com/live. Now we have a couple of updates for you. The first one is the DDO Players News podcast. We are now on Amazon Music and Audible. So if you listen to podcasts via Amazon or Audible, we are now on those platforms. So you should be able to just search for DDO and our DDO Players News, and we should pop right up. I did link over in the show notes Amazon Music. So if you use that, you can click on that and it'll take you right to the podcast. We're working on a couple other places where you'll be able to find the show, so stay tuned for that. This is our 297th episode, so that means 300 is coming up. It's going to be a few weeks yet. There will be no show the week of Gen Con, so the 300th episode is probably going to be after Gen Con, might be a week or so after Gen Con. The show is going to be kind of weird here the next couple of weeks. I have a little bit of some issues going on, health issues, nothing too major. It's not COVID related or anything like that, but I do have some health issues going on, so that might affect recording of the show. And then plus my schedule is kind of crazy the next couple weeks, and then we got Gen Con fastly approaching, so of course there'll be no show that week because I'll be at Gen Con on that Wednesday when we normally record the show. So the show schedule and timing might be a little weird the past couple weeks, so bear with us, but the 300th episode is upcoming. If you have any comments on the show you'd like us to talk about on the 300th, maybe like a favorite moment of the show or anything like that, email podcast@ddoplayers.com, or you can email drac@ddoplayers.com, and we'll be sure to include that on the 300th episode. That is all the updates I had for you. So that's a show. Wanted to thank Axel for coming on. Once again, check out his YouTube and his Twitch.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. We appreciate it. We'll have to have you on again.
Hey, sounds good to me.
That is it for this week's episode. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week, hopefully. Until then, may the RNG be kinder to you than it is to me.